if I had to summarize up this entire review in just one sentence, here's what I would say.
They actually make the xenomorph scary again. Who would have guessed that that would be a successful formula?
Okay, let's be fair though, the xenomorph was always kind of scary, if we're gonna be honest. So we finally get another Alien movie, and the last Alien movie that came out, let's just say, wasn't as good, that being Alien Covenant. So, Alien Romulus, I'm gonna be honest here, was really good. Now, I'm not gonna say it's a flawless movie or anything, but compared to the other Alien movies, and also the horror movies that have come out this year, which granted aren't a whole lot, this was a huge breath of fresh air. This was some much needed movies that needed to come out, if I'm going to be quite frankly honest. This was really good, in my opinion. This is probably my third favorite Alien movie if I had to rank it personally. Obviously, Alien and Aliens, the sequel to Alien, those are obviously going to reign supreme. So this is, honest to God, the second best. Now, make your own list when you see this movie, but this is just my own personal ranking. Before I give you my overall thoughts on this, if you are wondering if any of the scientists, especially if you remember from Prometheus and Alien Covenant, if you're wondering or worrying if the scientists are actually pretty stupid in this one, thankfully, they are not. They all make pretty smart decisions. I'll get into the characters in a little bit, but thankfully, they do not make decisions like they do in Prometheus.
Oh, no, 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 oh God, no, 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 no!
So, I guess that would just bring me to one of my first issues with this film, and, like I said, with the many praises I'm gonna give it, this is one of my big issues, are the characters. There is one character named Bjorn, who, I don't even know how to remember his name, but I did just watch this last night, so it's pretty fresh in my mind, and for somewhere, obviously you get his backstory on why he treats a certain character this way. His name is, just to bring you a little bit of context, there are two characters that I really do like, named Rain and Andy. One of them happens to be one of the androids. And Andy, the android, he just constantly gets harassed by Bjorn, and you get his backstory on why he hates him, or just has like a animosity towards him, but it is so random half the time on why he hates him. So I'm just like, okay, I really hope you die a horrible death. And to its credit, he doesn't get like a huge death or anything, but it does answer the question of what happens when alien acid gets on you. And the results are pretty freaking horrifying and pretty gnarly in my opinion. It was pretty cool. But with the many spoilers, I apologize, I'm going to try and stay away from spoilers, but, that is one of the deaths that are pretty gnarly. In fact, most of the character deaths in this movie are pretty gnarly. Now, if you've seen the trailer, I'm pretty sure you kind of know who gets offed in this, but I don't want to spoil it as best as I can, specifically the ending. And just, this is going to seem a little bit nitpicky with my next issue, but they bring back a certain character from one of the original movies. I'm not going to spoil who for obvious reasons, but it has some of the worst de-aging effects I think I've ever seen in a film. Now, it may seem a little bit nitpicky, but that was a moment in the film where I was truly just like, okay, I know what they're trying to go for, and their intent is honorable. I'm not going to lie, it did kind of give me like a little bit of goosebumps, and did kind of make me bring it all together to the original Alien films, but I was just like, why? Why did you de-age this character? And the de-aging is horrifically awful. I'm just going to say, it is horrifically awful. I did watch this in IMAX, so believe me, I saw every flaw in that de-aging, so it was right in my face. Now, I'm not going to say it was like terrible, but I am going to say it was noticeably awful to the point where I was just like, it almost takes me out of the movie, but I'm at the same time I also do not care, because I'm like, okay, their intent is there, it's honorable, he plays a major part in this, believe it or not, as well, but again, I just really wish they either recasted the character and just made him, like, they could have just used the character that looked and sounded like him, but they didn't. They de-aged him, and it just doesn't look great. But with a majority of my complaints out of the way, all I gotta say is this is a visually stunning film. Like, just the space scenes, the space action, all the explosions, like, they are really cool. I'm gonna show you a couple of images because they use practical effects in this movie, and it's really neat the way they, use practical effects and CGI, and especially since I think that, CGI has just taken over practical effects, that it's just really nice, especially for this franchise that was using practical effects in the first place. They brought it all back and brought it all home, which was really nice that they did that. So it was really neat. Like I said, the characters are also really smart, but as with all that, there is also some really cool action. The action is really neat. There is a really unique third act here. It's a little bit different, it's a little bit out there, but you know what? I had fun with it. It was so unique, so different, that I just couldn't help but love it. It was really cool. There's also some really good acting moments in this. This movie does suspense really well, is another thing that this franchise was sorely missing from previous films. Now, granted, the last Alien film was Covenant, but that movie didn't have as much suspense. This one brought it all back, and it was really cool. I read some of the reviews after watching this, and a lot of reviewers complain that, it's just the same rinse and repeat thing that they've seen in other Alien films, and that's the thing for me. It's like, if it worked then, bring it all back now. Like, bring it back to its roots. If it's not going right in the direction that it was currently going in, you gotta bring it back to the basics. Just like Halloween 2018 before it went off the deep end, this movie kind of brought it back to the basics and made a decent sequel. Now, it is set in between the first Alien and the second Aliens movie, and you can tell this has a lot of callbacks to it. In fact, I dare even say this feels more like a continuation of Alien from 1979 than Aliens. Now, that may sound a little bit controversial. Let me just rephrase this. I just mean, like, in terms of bringing back everything and making it feel connected to both of those films, just with different characters. The face huggers, especially in this movie, just really are the SceneStealers. Now, there are xenomorphs, and when I say action-packed, it's not in a sense of, like, this movie utilizes less is more, so you do get a lot of xenomorphs, but they don't do as much as you were expecting. So if you were expecting a big action-packed film, you might be a little disappointed, but if you know what you're getting with the Alien franchise, then you won't be too disappointed, because the SceneStealers of this are the face huggers. They were the practical effects, again, really do shine here. It is really cool just seeing them leap on other people's faces and just like chase the main characters. It is really neat. The aliens are, like I said in the beginning, are frightening again. They are really intimidating. The suspense on top of it, like, this movie just really does it really well done. I don't want to get too spoilery here, but like I said, the face huggers really are the SceneStealers here, and just really are probably my favorite in the entire movie. Now, I'm just going to briefly talk about this. I'm not going to spoil the ending to this movie, especially the Alien fans. I really want them to experience for themselves, but the ending here is really where the movie is just, it just really gets unique and really weird, and I really do give credit to where they take this franchise. And it even, like, if this movie continues in the direction with either these characters or just with this director, I have a feeling the Alien franchise is in good hands and can go somewhere interesting again, and can be fun again. So like I said, it's not a flawless film, it has its issues, but like I said, the highs here are really cool. The practical effects are really nice, the action's really cool, the ending is extremely unique, there is some great acting in here, the characters are a little bit suboptimal, and there are a couple of iffy moments here and there, but you know what? This movie was really what the Alien franchise needed, and it was fun. It was an extremely fun movie. like I said, if I had to rank it, it's the third best Alien movie, and this is coming from someone who grew up with the franchise, and yes, I will admit, even though the xenomorphs themselves aren't scary anymore, or as scary, but the director of this, I don't want to butcher his name here, I'll have to practice it at some point, he did Don't Breathe, and he made the xenomorphs kind of scary again, and I really do appreciate that. So, you know, the shock and awe may not be there anymore, but the director really does bring it all back, and it really does show in this movie. There is a lot of care. If you are an Alien fan, I highly go and see this movie. Like, it is really good. And if you can afford it, see it in IMAX, because it's a fun watch in IMAX. You know, it's a fun movie. Anyway, take it easy, everyone. See ya.